Hello, my name is Joe Gregory, and the title of the piece I'll be presenting today is called Second Memory. The name second memory refers to a computing term that I came across whilst undertaking my research into the subject of memory. It is a process whereby a computer will use a larger, permanent long-term storage device to assist everyday use. I realised that the way I use my memory had also changed over the years, because of the advent of modern technology, and in particular the smartphone. In my youth I had memorised the phone numbers of all of my friends and family members, but due to speed dialing, I couldn't now recall a single one other than my own. It was apparent that my mobile phone had become my second memory, and this had led me to a eureka moment whilst researching dementia. When undertaking a project on dementia, it is usual that the lens focuses its attention on the sufferer of the disease. However, I realised that, just like my mobile phone, the family members who care for dementia patients were also acting as second memory. From that point on, I had my project and I was going to capture the forgotten heroes of dementia, the carers. Before arriving at the hospice where the portraits were to be taken, I had looked at a number of different photographers who had done projects on dementia. They had almost always focused their attention on the sufferer, and only in rare occasions did they include the carer. Mark Seymour's work was particularly good because he did broaden the range of his inquiry, even though his project was about his father. Similarly, Anne-Marie Anang captured what life was like living with her mother, and was able to show how her house was now filled with post-it note reminders on nearly every object in the house. Max Alexander's work was also a good reference point. Although it was not regarding dementia, his work did focus on child carers. What I found from looking at his work was that the expressions on the children's faces were not the same as I found at the hospice. The children had never known a life different to the one they were now experiencing, whereas the people I spoke with had all known better lives, and the pain of loss for a life that once was had shone through. With regards to planning for the shoot, I had made sure that I used my own equipment, because I was very familiar with it, and it would mean that I could react quickly to any issues that arose. It also meant that I could concentrate fully on the subject and not have to worry about whether or not the equipment would function as I wanted it to. During my research, I looked at the latter Rembrandt self-portraits, especially because he had undergone hardships in his life and he managed to capture the emotions so beautifully. I didn't think it would be correct to use the same lighting style as he did, but I thought that the carers deserved to have their dignity captured. One important thing to note is that I recorded the interviews before taking the images, because I felt it was important to get a sense of each person's story first before I picked up the camera. It also allowed the memory of what they had just told me to echo in their faces. By shooting the images immediately after the audio was recorded, it also allowed me to control the narrative of the piece. If I had taken the portraits first, I may well have captured mistrust, shyness, or something else, but by allowing them to tell their own stories, I created a level of trust between us that made the shoot more honest. In total, I gained a lot from this project. I've learnt a lot more about dementia that I didn't know before. I found out how selfish dementia is as a disease, because it steals 2 lives instead of 1. I also learnt that there is great dignity in caring for a loved one, and that there are many people up and down the country who give up their time by volunteering in hospices like the one I visited. If my project gains traction, I would have no problem in visiting more centres like the East Cheshire Hospice and speaking to more carers like I've already done.